first for my new channel coming up, Great Baldini's CNC Carving and Woodworking. Today I'm going to create an adapter I need for my dust collection. I have to change out the vacuum tube in my workshop to a 3-inch PVC pipe, which is currently 3-inch flex duct, and I have to make an adapter on the spindle head of the machine that I 3D printed a brush setup, and I need to make an adapter for the new tubing I'm putting on. So what I've done is I've started the program up, and I'm in the 3D template, which automatically puts the dimensions in the millimeter, which 3D printing uses millimeters, so makes it easy. So let's get rid of this silly thing. You'll notice I don't build, some people build off the axis point here in the middle. The Z axis is the blue, Y is the green, red is the X. This program I use, it's an older program. You can see up here it's 2017. They started making web-based programs, and I just like having a little bit more control and all my stuff being saved on their server. So what we're going to start off with, we're going to make a radius, and basically it's a push and hold and drag, and down in that bottom right you can see the size it wants to make, and we can you can kind of see the segments, how they're like lines. So we come up here to the segments, and it wants input in multiples of 12, so I can go to 48, I can go to 72, and makes it rounder to the eye, because otherwise it'll print it looking like a polygon, so to speak. I'm not going to get too crazy because I don't really need to. I'm not selling this at all. So, but what we need to do is I got to find out what size. So the size of the adapter is going to be 4-inch down to 3-inch. So I come over here and I use this unit converter, and it's very easy. So all I got to do is go 4, and hey, look at that. So we need to know half of what that is, because that's what our radius needs to be. So I come down and get my trusty Windows calculator, and 0.6 divided by 2, and there we go. Some of you probably already did that calculation in your head. I'm not that smart. So all we got to do is 50.8. So when we come here to make the radius, I can click and drag and not touch the mouse anymore. I go down in the bottom right corner. If you watch the numbers, I can type 50.8, enter, and there she is. So we got to deselect that, come in a little closer. Now I'm going to go to 72, and that's all she wrote. So the camera, I can pan around and in and out, but I need it center. I'm a person that likes to put it center, so I'm always going to be doing that. I don't need to base off of that. Silly. Alright, so what we want to do is I need to make this. I figured I can make this. I just needed to go inside the tube, the dust collection tube that's 4 inches in diameter. So I'm going to go up to this little device at the top. It's push-pull. So see how that opens up? All I got to do is click. I can push and hold, or click once and just drag it up. Okay, see how that works? And then you click it and we're done. Now we got us a cylinder. That's right, it's not hollow. We'll get to that in a second. Let me come up to undo, because every time I think of something, I know 1.5 It's 38.1, I believe. I didn't want that. We go here, so let's go 1.5. There you go, 38.1. So I want to make that. But I can type it in 38.1. Enter. Boom. There she is. Okay. Now I got a cylinder. Now, what I got to do is I want to find the center of that because I got to make the offset. And you can see how the snap to works pretty well in this. So we're going to just come off that point, and I'm going to just move to you, see how you can come across. And once I'm at that point, I just click it. Now it just throws up a line, and I find another line, and there's our center. Okay, so what we could do, we come over back to the circle, and I need to draw another circle on top of that at center. But let's get off of that. I always like to deselect the tool I have. I come back to here. I need to know what 3 inches is. 76.2. Come on, do the math for me. 76.2 divided by 2. Look at that. I should have known that. So now I can come over here, grab my radius tool. I just got to pull any point, type in 38.1, and there you go. There's a 3-inch circle. Choose it, and we're going to then do a 72 segment. There you go. Now, that part is going to sit. This is basically when I stretch, push, and pull that thing. Use this here. I can now see how it just highlights inside that thing. I can grab it, boom, pull it. Pretty easy. Neat how it does it. It needs to sit down on the brush attachment I created. So this is actually going to be inverted. It's going to be flipped when it's actually attached. So let me get this, undo that. Okay, so don't worry, because see, it's still like a thick chunk. And then what we can do is we use this push-pull to go the opposite way. I won't do it yet, but see, now I grab it now, see what it does there? Draws it in. Now I already know that that's 38.1, so I can let go of that mouse, type 38.1, and there you go. We have a hole. It's a hole. Okay, pretty neat. But I need to build up that wall of the adapter first. Let's undo that. So we go back to that. So I just want kind of, I'll probably just do an inch. And an inch is 25.8, I want to say. So we go 25.4. Wonderful. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come here, we're going to pull that 25.4, and that's 1 inch. Pretty close. So it's down here. That's what it's just telling you your distance. So now, so we got that, and I still had not done with it yet, so I have an offset tool. So I need to make a wall, the wall of this, before I pull that center down. So what we're going to do is get the offset, and we're going to click the edge anywhere, and so I'm going to just drag towards the middle. See how that is? And you can see it changing. I like to be about minimum 4 to 5 inches. But now I'm thinking I messed up that other one because I need the inside diameter 3 inches, because that's what the collar is on my brush bracket. There's that bracket word again. So let's just undo off of that. We can also go Alt backspace, and we're done. So what I should have done was take the offset, not the rotation, so the offset, we're going outward 5, Okay, so we made a copy of that. We click that. Now I just come in here and I can pull that up, but we're just gonna, we need to get rid of it because sometimes SketchUp is a little funky. So let's delete that. Let's come back here. We want to bring that, oh, see, I missed the click and that, so kind of see where we're at. So I click it, drag it up, 25.4, enter. Okay, so now probably people have different ways to do their modeling. This is what gets me through. So now I want to offset, I want to bring that back in. Just showing you how things work. 5.0. So now we got that back. I can come across here and that is 76.2. Hey, that's 3 inches. Great. So I can just click there, delete guides, get rid of that. See, it wants to keep going. So now we know that that's 38.1 and that's 25.4. So let's do a plus 25.4, 63.5. Okay, I can come in here, and it's kind of hard because you got to kind of get the angle. I can take this push-pull, drag it down, and you kind of see how it turns into this blue sky with clouds is what I call it. Once you get that activated, so if it turns green, you're pulling that below. So we don't want that grayish. We want that cloudy look, and boom, there it is. Okay. We come around, and there it is. See how we're a little thick there? It's all right. I don't mind. It's just a little extra plastic. Chump Change doesn't mind that. So let's back out of that for a second. And what was our dimension back here? 63.5. So now what we just do is we can click it. 63.5, boom. And that's it. And of course, always save your work. Don't pay any attention to my stuff. Go to documents just to do a folder. CNC parts. Go there. You want to name it. CNC 4 to 3. I'll know what it means. Okay. There, I don't have autosave on or anything. I just usually save it anyway. So now, pretty much, I can live with that. So what we can also do, we can do a taper. So when this thing goes, when I make the STL file, when I go to save this, I can just go ahead and save it, boom, throw it on the printer and walk away. Pretty much done. We can kind of get into, there is a tool that's called Follow Me, and basically what it does is we can get the pencil line here, we can kind of draw across, draw it up, okay, and then we want to connect that. See how it made that little fin? Now it might get a little funky. It used to act real screwy when I had a crappy computer, but if we come up here to Tools, choose Follow Me, basically we want that to go all the way around. See? Oops, see how it's acting? Ugh. Come on now. Boom, there it is. Okay? So now it's done that. Because I don't really care, because this top part is going to, the collar's going to fit inside that, and I'll probably drill a hole and put a screw in it to hold it, because it's just basically, you'll see when I get out into the wood shop. And So it looks all right. I mean, for what it needs to do. Now we can also go in here, and now you can kind of see how we're thick and thin there, right? So what we want to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm select the arrow select. See, I'm going to come up here, see that guy right there? Extra lines and triangles and vertices and all that stuff. We don't want that printing. So I can come up here to the eraser, go right on it, click it, boom. Now if something was wrong with the model, when you clicked it, it might erase everything, but we're good there. Go ahead and save that. So now we know that that's 5 inches there. 5 inches, 5 millimeters, which is 1/4 inch is 6.35 for future reference. See, it's telling me it's 5, so that's good. So we just click off that. So now what we want to do, we're going to try the scale tool. And I'm going to click that ring. See, it's just separated. And now I can take the, let's say I take the move tool. I just go like this. See, I can move it and just make it funky looking. Okay. I can, see, I can raise it up inside. Well, see how it's snapped to the Z? So right there, so now it's coning it. Kind of cool how it does that. So let's get off of that. Back off of that. But what I want to do is I want to scale this. As you can see, scaling, we're going to pull that towards the outer ring. I can maybe come up here and just get on a spot. Yeah, hold on. Let me click that off. So we're going to just go across the center, get us that, and come down on here, and then I'm going to do another one and go 5.0. Okay, so see that little nick right there? That's where I want to be. Dang thing. Okay, so selection tool, let's select that ring. We're going to pick that. And now I can just grab a hold, and it'll, once you get on the corner, it'll pull it uniformly. And then I'm going to watch that nick, and when it brings it to there, I can let it go. So I'm just going to grab it, pull it, but see how it's just going to one side? We don't want it to be odd. Back off of that. So let's hold the shift key down and see what that does. Doesn't do it. Wait, was it the control key? Yeah, I think it's the control key. Alright, get on with it. So I can just watch, and I can just get close. It's at the end of the world. Oh, failed. Fail. Hold the control. Pull it down, get it where it is, release it. Release the mouse first, and then, so now we click off it. Always click off, boom, we can click. Yeah, now we've made a taper, and everything's going to be, you know, fine. I ain't worried about what's inside, because, like I said, okay, pretty cool. So, pretty simple. I come up and I delete the guides. You want to get rid of the guides, and I come in here and save it. I'm pretty sure. So sometimes on 3D printers, when you go to print, some printers might not be calibrated perfectly, which, you know, some people are, you know, wanting it really tight, but if you find that a part isn't quite where you need to be, especially like radiuses, you can go into the slicer program and like give it a percentage like 0.40% or 0.4% plus or minus, where it might increase or decrease the size a little bit. Then you'll get closer. It's just a fudge thing in the slicer, you know. So yeah. So now we've saved it. Now I want to make the STL file that I can put it to my 3D printer. So now what we're going to do is select the whole thing. So I push and hold. When you select, sometimes you can go from the left to the right and it only selects that. And you come back and it will select it, different parts, components. Anyways, get it all selected, because then it's all selected. You know, if we wanted to check views, we come up to camera, go up to view, we can go top, bottom, you know, left, right, whatever. So that'll change, you know, if you need to do different sizes. So that's selected. Sometimes what I like to do before I select it, I come up to File and I go to Export, 2D Graphic, Parts. So I already know, so what it's going to do is just going to make a file for me, a picture of it. It doesn't include all the, you know, the program tabs and stuff like that. So now we got a picture of it, so we know what it's going to look like. Select it. And there's an extension. Oh, let me talk about that real quick. So at the top here, they have the 3D Warehouse and 3D extensions. With these old programs, like with the web-based version, I believe stuff is already included, because there's a free version and a paid pro version. The pro version, it used to be $400 or $500. Obviously, you're limited to like what I use. Anyways, you go here and it opens up the 3D Warehouse, which has, oh, you know my name. It has models and stuff. I'll have to change that next time so you don't know who I am. Yeah, so that'll be for another one I'll do down the line. So we select it, export it. Now it's already, I think the first time when you use this extension, it, you know, it's going to default to the millimeter, but you don't want binary, you want the ASCII. And then we're going to export it, and it's going to throw it right in. There's the picture that I made. That's the Sketchup file, the .skp, I believe it is, or SKL, I can't remember. So just leave it the same name, and we're going to go save. And we're done. And everybody is probably wondering, well, what about the slicer program? Well, here, let's start up that slicer program. And I've been getting a lot of questions on what kind of printer to buy. When I started doing this, I made my own. I sourced out all the parts, and I followed what was the Mendel Max 1.5 version, which was a decent printer. I made it all out of, I bought the kit, the frame kit and the plastic kit. You know, the joke is buy a 3D printer and print your 3D printer and return the 3D printer and get your money back. And it doesn't work that way, but you can print extra parts and mods and extras and stuff like that. So anyways, this Creality Slicer, there's other brands out. This is what I use because it came with my new Creality CR10 mini printer, and I do have an Ender 3 Pro, and it uses the same. And I can come up to the machine up on the top left here. I have the CR10 mini, so my settings are set for that. And then when I'm printing stuff on the other one for Mr. Chump Change, I'm going to choose the Ender, and it's going to change it up. And if I got to send him a G code, I can send that, make it here, send it to him, and he can be happy printing in his newly created studio. So we're going to go, since I'm probably going to print it on the CR10 mini, it's, you know, layer height and shell thickness is the outer shell, what it prints as it's, you know, to do an outer shell. And then it goes in multiples. My nozzle here is a 0.4 nozzle size, 0.4 millimeter. So the shell thickness is based off of that nozzle, which obviously if I put 7 here, it might have a little problem because it's 0.4. So we can go and, the shell thickness is 0.8, so it's basically 2 lines of shell, and then it infills it. And there's other settings here that we can get into. Expert mode, we can go into the settings, and there's retraction, and skirt is basically you're running the printer around where your part's going to be. And then, just to get some plastic oozing out of the nozzle. There's a whole bunch of settings. I'm not going into those now. We're not changing anything. This is a simple thing how we're going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that in. We're going to go to where I saved that file right here. So you can see how the icon, so the other one is hidden. So we can load into this software an STL, an OBJ. These are basically files you can use. I don't know why we would need to, import a JPEG. Who knows? We're going to open that guy up, and there it is. Okay. Now this is building it and telling me how long it's going to take to print. Okay. Now 6 hours. Okay, and that's how much filament it's going to use. And we all know that it's approximately 3 feet and 1 meter. So it's the rolls of plastic we get are like 2-pound rolls. So I could print a few. So I can come in here and go in and out. I can spin it. It's just little things. It's not the greatest slicer, but you know what? It does what I need to do. We come over here to rotate. So if we had to rotate this thing, as you can see, the axis are out, and the Y and the X and the Z. Okay, so if we wanted to come in, we can just grab that line. Actually, no, we just highlight it and push and hold the mouse, and now we can spin it up. Gotta watch it because there is no undo in this program, so I don't want to tilt it. So see how it goes. We can go 90, 180. We can sit here and just play all day with it. Okay, we're just going to leave that alone. Click off of it. Now I can move it. If I wanted to reposition it. Usually everything defaults to the center. Let's say I wanted to do 2. So all I got to do is right click it. Let it do its thing. Once you start messing with things, it recalculates. And then I can save it to my desktop, my folders, or if I put in the hold on, let me see if I got one here. I got the micro SD card and a little USB hub for it. I just pop it in. Oh, we don't need that. It might pop it open. Maybe. No. So now when I click it, it will save it to that. I just got to go boom. And it builds it, and it saves it right to that micro SD card. I take that card, slap it into the, slap it in. And there it is. It made the G code. Okay, we click off of that. Or if we, pull it out, give it a second. Now you can save the file. I like to have backup files, so I'll save it first to the computer, and then I'll send it to the printer. But we can come here, center, there's a few different things. Multiply object, sure, we'll just make a copy. And it'll put it on so the black line represents my build platform, how much space I have to use. And if I draw back here, you can see the box, that's how high I can go. put the microphone on mute for a second because you probably hear my dogs in the background. So there you go. You can double it up, and now it's, you know, taking a little bit of time, and there you go. So basically what the slicer does, if we come up here, we can look at the layers and see how it like builds it. So you can see the layer is every pass of the extruder on the 3D printer. So that's basically what it's doing. It's making the lines. So every layer is accounted for, and then it's just the coordinates on it. Okay. Let's just go back to there. We can go back to there. Delete it. Drag that over. There's settings here. You know, I'm not going to get into it. I just want to kind of show you, you know, what it is. And that's pretty much it. So we've gone from creating that to that, sending it off to the printer. Fortunately, I'm printing other things right now, and we just can't, you know, put it on over there, but I'll do a video coming up of this printing and maybe do another couple tutorials how it works. All right, and I appreciate everybody coming by and sitting here with me as I did my little tutorial. I'm not even going to ask you to hit the like and subscribe because this video might not even stay around. So, all right, man. Have a good day. Thanks.